Hi everyone, my name is Chris. I would like to take a few minutes to share some really deep things with you, some things that might relieve some of the tension that you have, that might relieve some of the pressures of life, that might just help you re-examine the important things that you have in your life, what means the most, not the material things, not the big screen TVs, not the computers, not the fancy cars, but what matters the most in the end. It's the tangible things that reproduce love, not inanimate objects like cars and things of that nature. In 2010, December 31st, I went to bed and I remember being anxious about waking up for the new year. I remember thinking about all the new things that it had to offer, that this was going to be the year that I was released from my psychological prison. I had all these goals and ambitions. I was working out, doing 1,000 push-ups a day. I was doing 1,000 sit-ups. I was running 5 miles a day. I was preparing my mind mentally and physically to start a new life, to start a new beginning. However, in 2011, I woke up in a hospital. I woke up with a breathing tube shoved down my throat. I remember having needles strung from both arms. I remember having machines constantly beeping behind me. I remember having this cumbersome neck brace on that wouldn't allow me to move. I remember seeing all these sad faces. I remember seeing my mother, my sister, and my Uncle Jeff's just surrounding the bed. And their faces told the story. Their faces told me that something bad had happened. I didn't remember what had happened to that point, and probably for a good reason. They said that I had a seizure, that I hit my head and split it wide open, that I had to be rushed to the hospital, and in the ambulance I died. Well, the doc came in a few hours later and gave me some more devastating news. He said, "Son, I'm going to share something with you that is probably going to be hard for you to fathom. It's going to be hard for you to comprehend, but just know that we will do everything that we can for you in order for you to become better, in order for you to get healthy again, so to speak." I don't know what that meant. But he said, "You have a brain tumor. You have a tumor that is cancerous." And I remember when he said that dreaded C word, that C word that I had never even thought about having cancer. You know, cancer didn't run in my family. Cancer was not something that I had to deal with, so I didn't understand where it was coming from. I didn't understand why me. Why did I have to be the one who has to endure the dreaded C word? I was crushed. I was devastated. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know. I had 1,000 questions, no answers, and I didn't know what my future was going to look like. He did the surgery the next day. It took about 4 hours, and he was able to remove 80% of it. The other 20%, he didn't feel like it was worth taking the chance of damaging my motor skills, of my speech skills, just lessening the quality of my life. So he opted to just do it the safe way. I remember after I got out of surgery and I got out of the hospital and I started acclimating back to life, I remember thinking that I'm blessed. I'm blessed that I'm still alive. I'm blessed that my cancer is not terminal. I'm blessed to wake up each and every day hearing the birds sing, of smelling fresh air, just enjoying and taking in the small things in life. Because I learned that that's what's most important in life, is the small things. And now that I had that experience and some other experiences, it just made me accept life on life's terms. It made me look at life from a different perspective than most people. Well, the plan for treatment for the next year was every 90 days I'd have an MRI. So for a year, we went through all the MRIs, no changes. Second year, same thing, no changes. Well, into the third year, I got some news that anyone who has beat cancer or has had cancer in remission never wants to hear. My oncologist told me that they had looked at the MRI and that he believed that there were signs of regrowth. When he told me this, for the last 3 years I had been living my life as if I never had cancer, as if I would live forever. But now that he's bringing it back up, it's stirring up all these emotions, it's stirring up all these thoughts, and I didn't know what to do. I was confused, I was angry, I was devastated. I just experienced this plethora of emotions that I had experienced before, but I hadn't experienced in the last 3 years. And it crushed me, it devastated me. I had thoughts of, where would I be in the next year? Would I be alive? Would I be alive for the next 5 years to be with my family? What would my family do if I passed away? I had all these thoughts running through my head that I couldn't answer, and no one could really answer for that matter. And he told me that he wanted me to go see the neurosurgeon for a second opinion. Well, I met with this neurosurgeon for the second opinion about a month later, and he told me that we definitely would have to do surgery before it grew too far back into my motor skills and he wouldn't be able to get to it. So he elected to let me set up the date. I tried to put it off as far as I could, but inevitably it came up. We set the date for February. That day came quicker than any other time in my life. It was like there wasn't enough delay to put me away from it. It just like boom, it was there, right in my face, and I had to deal with it. So we did the surgery in February. He was able to resect it all. It was a time of celebration. It was a time of relief. It was a time of to praise and a time to be thankful. However, he said that he wanted me to meet with the radiation doctor. And again, this is another time where I'm hit with all these emotions. I'm scared. I'm terrified. You know, I never wanted to go through my worst fear was go through radiation and chemotherapy. It's just something that I didn't want to deal with. I had heard all the war stories. I had heard how chemotherapy breaks your body down, how they inject you with these poisons, how it makes you sick to your stomach. And frankly, that was something that I didn't want to go through. It was something that I'd rather pass and just not deal with. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. The radiation doctor prescribed 33 treatments. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen a mask. This was a custom mask that they made for me. They pinned me down to a table with this, and I couldn't move. My face was locked into it. And they would give me radiation treatments for about 15 minutes. At first, my anxiety was high. At first, I panicked a little bit. I mean, I'm not claustrophobic, but when that thing's pinning you down to a table and you have no room to move, you can barely breathe. I mean, it's horrible. As the radiation treatments went on, I remember first going in there, thinking to myself, looking around, and I seen how everybody was losing their hair. And I remember thinking to myself, no, maybe I won't lose my hair. Maybe I'll have an opportunity to keep my hair, because my hair was my identity. My hair was who I was. It was a part that made Chris who he is. And I didn't want to lose it, and I struggled with it for a long time. So each day that I would take a shower, I'd run my hands through my hair, and I would check to see if it was falling out, and it didn't. At least for not a couple weeks. And then as the second week progressed, and I did it, I noticed hair falling out in my hands. And I remember thinking to myself, it's only a matter of time. Well, about 3 weeks in, you can see what it did. It started to take my hair away. It started to destroy those hair follicles. And it was devastating. And again, I had to dig down deep. I had to find peace. I had to find understanding. I had to find strength within, and it wasn't easy, and there was days that I struggled. As a matter of fact, the stress caused me to have a seizure while I was doing 70 miles per hour down 470